Hey there, and welcome to this session solving tactics on chesstempo.com with the advocate. F3, rook d5 mate. That's a bit easy, no? This is an 1800 to 1900 problem, but f3 is very clearly the winning move, no? f3 cuts off all the king's squares, and rook d5 is unstoppable, so that was a weird one. Very clear. This shouldn't be too difficult for anybody to figure out. Um, it's just checkmate, you know. Now queen takes g3. Rook takes. Hmm. Queen d2. Queen d2. What's the material count here? I'm down in exchange? Yeah, I'm down in exchange. Queen d2, there's queen g2 in defense. That seems to be the only move that holds. Yeah? So if queen d2, the only way to stop mate is queen g2. And is there any way to punish that? Nothing that I see. There's queen d2, king queen g2 forced. Queen takes g2, king takes g2. But just doesn't feel like it's enough, you know? There's like okay, wait. So I think I found perpetual. There's queen d2, queen g2, rook takes h2, queen d4 check, queen g2, queen h5 check, queen h2, queen d5 check. And I think like it's three pawns, and I'm down the exchange. And I don't see a win here. There's no win. So yeah, queen d2, queen g2, rook h2, queen takes h2, queen d4 check, queen g2 forced, queen h5 check, queen g2 forced, queen d4 check, or I'm sorry, queen d5 check perpetual. No. Rook h2 check first, and after king h1, after king h1, there's queen h6, king g2, queen h3, mate. I see now. I see now. Yeah, I didn't try hard enough, I guess. I didn't try hard enough to calculate a mate. Yeah, I should have tried harder. Judith Polgar with the black pieces. I got in a Twitter fight with her one time, saying shit about American politics. White to move. A8 queens. A8 queens. Knight takes A8 forced. Knight takes A8. Rook takes B5. Now another option is knight D5. Knight A8. B6. Yeah. Wait. So knight D5. Knight D5. Knight A8. Or just A8 queens. Knight takes A8. Knight takes A8. Now he would have rook takes B5. There's rook check. Rook takes F7. And my king can stop the E pawn. But I'm not certain that's winning because he can give up the E pawn. So for example, E3, King G2, and Rook B2 check. King F1, Rook takes H2. He has 2 pawns. I have 1. He has the rook still on the board, and I have a knight and a rook. I don't see any more clever way of doing it though. What about rook A6? King takes C6, rook takes C6. King takes B7, A8 queens. Okay, that I think is better. Yeah, so rook A6. Now if rook takes B5, I can take on B6 or I can just take on B5. So I think rook A6. Rook A6, rook takes B5, rook takes B6, rook takes B6, A8 queens. Rook takes B6, rook takes B5. If knight takes B6, there's knight A8. And now it's suddenly a little bit more difficult. But I am a full rook up. Full rook up is better than being a queen for a rook. So yeah, I think that knight takes b5, the best move is just knight takes b5, knight a8, and I can do other stuff. So yeah, rook a6, rook takes, a8 queens. This was my main line, but it wasn't what I thought was the most tricky line. So rook takes b5, and there should be a check that will pick up the e pawn. Queen b8, for example. Um, um, okay, so if queen takes, knight check, there's queen takes, knight check, queen takes, pawn takes, no. I could just take on h5. So queen if queen takes e2, I'm sorry, if bishop takes e2, knight check. Now I have two moves, pawn takes and queen takes. Now queen takes, knight check. Queen takes is forced because if pawn takes, then g takes is mate. So takes, g6, queen takes, pawn takes, again threatening mate. And in that position, I would need to play h6. Then bishop takes e2, equality. So I mean, at that point, it would be even better to just play bishop takes h5 or queen takes h5. You know, might as well win that insignificant amount of material at least. Queen, bishop takes, knight check, queen takes, pawn takes. Ah, and then there's bishop takes c4. Yes, okay. So queen takes, knight check, queen takes, pawn takes, bishop takes c4. And if rook takes h7, there's king g8. Covering mate. Okay, I sort of, it's so strange, chess problems. Like, you can see it sort of in like the side of your vision. Like these ideas, they're all floating around there. Um, but sometimes it can be so difficult to take these really abstract ideas and turn them into. Okay, queen takes h5, most common mistake. f3 is, I thought, the problem with that. I didn't like this. I didn't like bishop takes, or I'm sorry, queen takes h5 because of f3. I didn't see what was going to be so useful here. Um, First of all, you really have a problem finding a place for your bishop, yeah? Let's say bishop c8. Yeah, f5 was also the idea that I had contemplated. But yeah, it's not so easy. Ooh, that's sexy. If queen takes, knight takes, pawn takes, there's knight check. No, rook is here. Okay. Rook takes c8, rook takes c8, queen takes e1. Or rook takes c8, rook takes c8, knight e7 check. Rook takes c8, bishop c2 check. I'm sorry, rook takes c8, bishop e2 check. There's king takes e1. And then if revealed check, rook takes e8. No. Knight e7 check directly. Why? Why knight e7 check right away? Yeah, obviously, if rook takes, there's rook takes c8. king g7, and then bishop takes, and now you have the exchange. So why can't I take on c8 first? I don't understand why I should have to protect against bishop takes bishop e2, because I can just take, no? If takes, rook check. Is it knight f2 check that's the danger? Um, rook c8. If rook takes, knight check. If rook takes, knight check, king g7, and knight takes c7, the bishop just runs away, and it's 3 minors against 3 minors, equality. Yeah, but by giving the check first, you're forcing the win of material. So you go down the exchange. So you're up the exchange here, and then you get back your rook. So this is the rook that you lost here, and this is you winning the exchange. Okay, all right, that makes more sense now. Mikhail Tal actually was with the black pieces there, losing. Black to move. Um, Knight f3 is a sort of natural move, but I wonder, like, rook g5 should be a little bit more healthy, no? I could also play rook b7, intermediate move. Rook b7, queen h6. Yeah, there's a couple of problems to take care of here, aren't there? I need to take care of this, and I need to take care of this. So I need to figure out how to. Pero jamás seré. Soy como el junto que se doble. Okay, so rook here, queen takes, knight check, king h2. Rook here, queen takes, knight check, king f2, knight check, rook check, king takes e3, rook check. Rook, queen h6, knight check, king f2, rook check, king takes e2, rook check, king f4, he gets away. Knight check immediately, pawn takes, no. So rook here, pawn takes c5. How do I solve these two problems? I need to create some sort of threat with one of them, but I'm not certain how I can threaten anything. Gonna take a little pause just to give myself some time to think and take a little break. Hey there, and welcome to this session solving tactics on chessdebo.com with the Advocate. What has been 2 seconds for you has been a full day for me. I stopped this session and sort of forgot about this problem, and then I opened it back up and I spent forever solving it, and I realized that I was still recording. Um, but I think that when I was recording here, I realized that you have to save the rook on g4, and you have to save the knight on c5. And I took forever trying to figure out a way to to save both of them. But what I figured out is that there's actually a mate threat here. Um, and the mate threat happens after rook g5, pawn takes, knight check, and if king f2, there's rook e6, threatening mate. So king f1, or I'm sorry, rook anywhere, and then after rook e2 check, king f1, there's going to be rook g2. I hope that makes sense. And that should be a perpetual at least. So rook g5, knight check. If king h2, rook check perpetual. And if king f2, rook e6, threatening mate, and threatening mate here. So the rook needs to go away. Yeah. And then we're going to play rook g2, king f1, only square, and rook e2. Alexei Shirov with the white pieces here. 9 wrong moves, rook b7, most common one. Rook b7. Yeah, this is a move that I considered. This was a move that I considered. But, queen takes h6 or queen f5. And you still need to solve this problem, yeah? Although no, queen f5 runs into rook g5. So saving both pieces. How would I go about this with rook g6? Why did I think it was just queen takes h6 that I thought, because now after queen g6, rook h5, there's queen takes f5, and if you try to save the knight, then there's queen takes g5. Was the problem I had with that. But of course, in this case, it's rook b7 that's the problem, because this is check and it's picking up the rook. But that was the position that I was looking at in my head when I decided against rook b7, I believe. Anyway, I'm going to call that a session for me because I got shit to do and I don't want to. I'm sort of out of the mindset for this particular session. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you learned as much as I did from this particular session. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm uploading a little bit to my chess.com blog if you want to check that out now. It's just like chess.com blogs, and you look for The Advocate. I'm certain you'll find it. Um, I haven't uploaded to that in like over a year, but there is some really, really useful stuff there that I think you might like. So thank you so much, and until the next time, good luck with your chess journey. Bye bye.